Hey Alexis, I got your booklet up, and for one, I'll tell you, I'm loving the direction this is going. I think it's. Oh, by the way, I in the video before yours, I learned because I didn't keep up. I actually brought up last week's work. I forgot to do that for the student before you, but I wanted to do that just so we can see. Your page mechanics is superior this week, so good job, man. Good job. I love. I could just do this all day. Watch students learn. This is fabulous. I think that, well, let's jump over to the new page. And thanks for keeping your grid lines here because that is just going to be make it so easy for me to make a couple of points. Okay, now let's start out with the table of contents. Now, what I would see here is I would see this. I would say, okay, well, first of all, your folio, I can see your folios are incorrect. And what does that mean? That means that on your front cover, that's the first page. Once you turn, no, I'm sorry, that is not the first page. That's your first touch point. Okay, you turn that page. Okay, then there's an inside cover of that, and then there's going to be a blank page usually, right? Because you can't print on the first side of that to start on the other side of that cover to start your spread. So there would be a blank page. Well, that blank page would be considered. So once you open this up, you'd have the cover, backside of the cover, a blank page. That would always be considered number one. Therefore, odd numbers are always going to be on the right-hand side of your spread. Here you're showing even numbers on the right-hand side of your spread. So it would be spread 4 and 5. It would be page 5, etc. Okay. Table of contents page. And, I'm looking at this and I would say, okay, what's going on here? Let's say you're at an interview and I'm looking at your work and I'm going, okay, table of contents. This is a 12-page booklet. Why do we need a table of contents? I want you to show me as a designer that you know how. I mean, show type. This is a type project, right? Excuse me. So show some type. Darn it, that's what I would be thinking. So okay, so let's just lose this. Okay, let's just lose this and speak typographically. If you want to make some I guess all I'm asking you to do here is try to speak typographically. Let's jump right into your first spread instead of this table of contents. I think this is just a wasted chunk of real estate, a lost opportunity for you to show what you have been learning. I want to do something real quick here. Okay, so you've got some pretty big page sizes here. These are actually really large pages. So, 8.5 by 11, you can really bring that page size down. I would. I think, once you print this out and hold it, it's pretty big. And the other thing you're going to see is this type here is just enormous. So in relationship to the rest of the page, I think your headlines are really large. And I know that's in fact one of her techniques. I just think that you might want to reconsider the relationship of the page and the headline itself. If the page fold is right here, that headline is encroaching into the fold itself. So I mean that's immediately questionable from a production standpoint. Okay, so I'm saying let's forget table of contents and just start thinking about bringing some more type into here. Your typeset, I think, is good. Okay, okay, back to over to your brief biography. Good start, good page mechanics. I think your typeset is good. I'm wondering, it looks like this typographic color right here is just a lot darker than it is over here. And boy, that's a tough to say. I know it is a little bit. Yeah, it is. You know what? And here's your culprit right here. Take a look at these lines right here. And look at how tightly packed they are as compare those to maybe like this line right here. And think about your kerning. Think about and then look at these weird spaces over here. One thing I noticed, I think your indents are too far into the margin. I really do. You're 6, 7, 8 spaces deep here, maybe even 9. I'm thinking 3, 4 spaces tops will demarcate the new paragraph without really decimating your left margin. This right here is called a pull quote. You're going to want to pull that quote over your left margin. Okay, called pull quote. It's really easy to do. Same thing here. Really easy to do. A little research in InDesign will show you how. Okay, these look really good. Oh, and the one thing I want to mention is that yeah, you superimposed the grid on here, and that's great. But one thing I'm not really understanding is typically in a grid you would I mean these all of these areas would need to be equal on your grid. Okay, so in other words, if this is a grid mark right here, this is your margin. If that's a grid mark, the next one would be right there. So it is. It looks like it is falling within the grid. So that's cool. Awesome. Cool. Excellent. But my next point is this, and this is why I'm so glad you keep the grid on here, you kept your grid visible, is that if we come down to this page here, and we can see that why did you change the grid mid-page, so to speak? I mean, we go from this wonderful use of white space, this nice page, to like, I'm just wondering why. And then here, we can see these grid marks set up, and why didn't we just stay with that and just move these over and stick within that grid? Why did we change the grid again? So we have 1, 2, 3 grid changes in 3 different pages. That's very curious. Very curious. So that I would question. I would use one grid on the whole page. One grid. One other thing, this was a good idea. I'm so glad you eased off on that. And you know what? Let's take a look at what it was doing to your page. It was destroying your type. And look at how lovely that typeset is. So pleased, so pleased. Let me draw a guide here because I see that your baselines are not in alignment on that page. You're a good alignment there. You're good alignment there, although no, you're not. Actually, this page is a little too, this type counts a little higher than that one right there. Let me see. One other thing, last but not least. I think, as we can see, you've eliminated a lot of these visual elements that were like causing all these visual stops on your page. And I think that's wonderful. And I think it's just such a perfect example of how that can help build your page, taking out the clutter, so to speak. I still think there's some things that can be removed, okay? I would question this big circle right here. If this were a black and white page, that would be black, right? And if, as a matter of fact, go ahead and print this page out black and white on your home computer, look at it, put it on a desk, and take 3 or 4 steps away, and you're gonna see that, because that is gonna be pulling all the weight towards, it's directional, like a planet pulling stuff towards it, you know what I mean, like gravity. And then these circles, we don't need these. Let's get rid of these. As a matter of fact, a lot of these color motifs I want to get rid of. I think that we don't need these. I think, number one, they're changing a little bit of the meaning. They're confining. The New York City Ballet should not be confined. I mean, it's dance. It should be expansive. This should not be here, this circle. Plus, it would probably constitute copyright infringement, too, because most logos have their corporate guidelines where you can't place things close or near the logo itself. So I would reconsider that. Just show the logo as it stands. It's not supposed to have a circle around it. Why place one around it, right? Same thing with these. Just show the circle, show the image with the circle, and get rid of the color. Okay. All right. So that's basically that's going to be really big too. Really, really big. Print that page out. You'll see. Boy, that's 5, 10. That's 3.5 inches high. It's big, tight. It's going to feel clumsy when you print it. That's why I keep saying print the page out and look at it, because you'll see it'll feel like really like blocky and clumsy almost. I don't mean that as a dig. I hope you know that by now. Okay, so all right, there you have it. If you have any questions or if I can provide any more clarity, please feel free to let me know. Okay, good job. Thanks.